Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, FF family. Today is Tuesday, September 16th, episode 31. Today's all about the stock market boom that recently happened. Plus, we have some Tesla updates and questions going on. Looks like something's happening there. I'm sure we're excited about that one. I'm going to start us off today with, as usual, my name is Dylan. I'm going to be hosting today's episode. I'm now supported by Bradley and Nick. Appreciate you both being here to get us started. I got a little question for you both. I'm going to start off with Bradley here. What are some things going on as far as your stock market portfolio? What are some changes you got going on?
So I'll repeat this for a second time because it took me about 30 minutes to get my internet fixed. But I don't know if you heard it the first time, but I sold a bunch of stocks, about 15 grand worth, to pay off a car about a year ago. And it took about 10 months to make up that 15 grand just from growth on the stock market. And then over the last month or so, it's grown another $10,000. This is all just from growth from the stock market. So just goes to show the more money you have in the stock market, the quicker it grows, the better your interest grows. So get as much cash in as possible.
And Nick, pass it off to you. What's going on with you and your portfolio?
So I actually sold out of a lot of positions, I'd say, in the last couple of months. So I've actually missed out on some of that growth that Bradley is talking about. But I did learn some cool stuff. I think we'll be dropping a video on it with the cash accounts through Fidelity. The default account pays you about a 2% interest rate, and you can switch that to a fund called SPAXX. That pays out about twice as much interest per month, but you have to actually go in and like change the setting. By default, they give you the lower amount. So I'll be making twice as much on any cash in my Fidelity account as I was before, which is pretty cool. So I like to keep cash in there for when stocks go on sale. So
yeah,
that's actually funny. I actually have that account myself.
Nice.
That's part of mine. So yes, you are correct. That is true. It was weird because I initially set it up way back when, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Yeah, this comes out." I think it was a year ago I set that up, maybe a little bit less, and it's been working well ever since. I agree. It's good. It's just 2 times more than what you would have been making just having it sat there. So it's great.
Why not?
Well, gentlemen, if there's nothing else to add more onto this, we're going to ride today's topic on here. I think everyone's kind of wondering. We've been hearing a lot of news. I've been seeing some headlines. The employee report, jobs report, that's going all shot. Nothing's really working right now. I was hearing things, but the stock market's showing that it's popping off right now. So I'm going to start us off with Nick here. Lots of record highs being hit throughout the last few weeks that are going on. Why are things overall actually positive that's happening right now?
yeah, I think Bradley's mentioned it before. I think the market sets a new all-time high, like on average every 16 days or something like that. So
yeah, that video was about right. Yeah.
It's not really like that surprising, but if you look at like what's actually going on right now, I think the market's a little overvalued. I feel like a few months back, before that crash that lasted for like 3 minutes happened.
Oh yeah, I lost everything.
Yeah, the price to earnings index of the S&P 500 was sitting at about a 28. I think right now we're at like a 29 and some change. So like we're back above kind of where we were right before the height, before that crash kind of happened. So I do think the market's a little bit overvalued. And then the fear and greed index, it's actually come down. We were in like extreme greed. We're at about a 58 right now. It's a 100 point scale. So we're technically in the greed section. So I think just those two things kind of causing, more buyers than sellers. I think there's more market confidence. I think there's we're looking for a rate cut here pretty soon. And I think people are anticipating that and probably pricing that into the market a little bit. And I think all of those things together. I don't think we've heard the T word in a while. What is it? Tariffs?
So maybe that's great. Terrific. Yeah, Bradley's triggered. Great. Thanks, Nick.
Now so the stock market's going to go down.
Yeah, now it's going to go down.
Dude, it just went down 5 points.
Yep. Dang. Sorry, guys.
All right, cool. Well, I appreciate that.
So it's funny that, just to go along with that, Nick, like, it's kind of always overvalued, at least like the stock market overall. I think like there's just so much going on when it comes to like the industries, especially tech industries, where things are just like Nvidia, Apple, Tesla, all these tech industries, they're just being worth, like, every day it's like, well, this company's now worth 2 trillion and this company's worth 3 trillion. I remember like 2 years ago, it was like Apple's the first ever company to hit $1 trillion. And now Nvidia's like, ha, that's whatever, that's easy. So these tech stocks are just blowing up right now, a lot due to AI and chip manufacturing. And I'm surprised tariffs haven't slowed it down more, than it has.
Have the tariffs fully hit yet? I don't know, because I know we talked, once again, this isn't like bashing it. It's just, I've heard, being pushed back again. Are we fully in that initial, what was it called? I'm sorry, Independence Day. What did we call it?
Liberation Day.
Liberation Day.
Yeah.
Are we like fully into Liberation Day now? Like, I don't.
Mostly, yeah. I think that there's a couple deals that are on hold from like China. No, I think China's in there.
Yeah, China. We had one.
India, but we're pretty much in it. So, like, we'll talk about this more, but like, everyone keeps saying like, oh, we'll see the inflation come from tariffs. We'll see it. Well, maybe we'll see it in the summer. The summer came along. Maybe we'll see it at the end of the year. Then it's like, well, it's actually a long-term thing. So no one really knows. I don't think the tariffs really had an impact on what we pay, but I'm surprised they haven't had an impact on market values when it comes to companies,
Right. I don't know. It just feels like you hear like any minute now the needle's going to drop and everyone's on there. The problem is I think people are conflating just prices have just stayed high and they haven't adjusted, and we're just assuming that's like a tariff thing, right? It just nothing is adjusted for that. So I think that's what people are conflating, in my opinion. But I don't know. That's why I pay you all the big dollars. Bradley, so since I have your attention here, I'm actually going to send it off to you. So some economic data like CPI and jobs report still doesn't show that we're in the clear yet when it comes to this, especially because if I mentioned before, I saw the headline that the jobs report's not looking good. So Nick was talking about the Fed's probably going to cut, but I would assume that they wouldn't cut because of that. So what's your ideas about the future here?
Okay, real quick with that. If the job market's bad, the stock or the Fed will usually cut rates to help improve the job market. I think you're thinking inflation. If inflation's bad, they want to keep interest rates high to reduce spending.
So there's a difference there.
Yeah. So, well, I think we talked about this, but like we found out like 2024, the job market was way worse. I think like 900,000 jobs were overreported last year in 2024. Which is funny because I always felt like kind of weird. Like the job market's booming. It's like it seemed weird, and apparently almost 1 million people weren't actually employed when we thought they were. But in August, it went up 0.2% from 0.2 to 0.4. Sorry, this is CPI inflation. But really what threw it off was food jumped up again, and energy, gas prices specifically jumped up. It was like a 4-point swing or something like that, maybe even more. Gasoline, I think 4.3%. So I think the idea of like month to month things look scary or they look good, but like the 12-month thing is where we really get like our big inflation. Since February, we've had 0.2% inflation, then minus 0.1, 0.2, 0.1, 0.3, 0.2. Those are all really good numbers, but we've also had some bad things with like hen and prices at the end of 2024, which hurt us. So prices are fine. When it comes to employment, Jerome Powell keeps saying like, well, we're at or near full employment. Well, it moved from 4.1 to 4.2 to 4.3. The higher is, the worse it is. So I think that's where we're getting. Hopefully we'll see some interest rates dropped to get the economy moving and get people hired. I don't know. What are you thinking, Nick?
Yeah, no, I saw a thing. It was interesting because usually when the job market is getting worse, like stocks should probably go down, right? Because people have less money. But people are thinking because the job market is getting slightly worse that there's more of a chance that a rate cut, and that's actually causing the market to go up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird to see like those basic like financial principles work in reverse sometimes. So
Yeah.
I just think that's super interesting. And to call out a point you said as far as like things getting more expensive on the market side, I think you said like Apple and a couple of companies being
Yeah.
like, I want it also known that it's not just that it's more expensive now, but like the price to earnings ratio is much higher than it has been historically, other than I think when COVID initially hit early 2021, late
Yeah.
2020. It's like the market for every dollar that it's making is way more expensive than it
Good
has
point.
been historically. I think like 20% or 20 PE is about the average, and right now we're almost at 30. So it's not just that like inflation and everything. It's just like for every dollar that we have, it's just costing a lot more. So people are valuing the market a lot more than they have historically, which I think is very interesting.
So to go along with your point, Tesla, we'll talk about Tesla in a second, but their price to earnings ratio is 250. So
I know, right?
like that's my
Isn't that
point, is like
crazy?
the tech stocks are just like crazy expensive, which is, in my opinion, holding up the stock market overall. I think
Isn't that what
Tesla.
happened with the dot-com bubble though? Like things were just so overvalued. Are we not seeing similar like trajectory into that territory?
Yeah, but the difference with the .com bubble is these were like companies that weren't ready to mature and sell a product yet, you know? So these
Yeah.
were all companies that weren't selling much. And once they started selling, they're like, "Ooh, this doesn't actually do anything. You don't make me money."
Yeah, but I mean, okay. I think the same could be argued for AI. Like,
Sure.
unless companies are
That's a
finding
good
ways to
point.
monetize that, it's like we think all this stuff's going to happen, but if
Yeah.
it can't translate into more dollars, because right now
Okay.
the market's only high because we're anticipating more money. If AI doesn't start bringing that in,
That's a good point.
Nvidia is going to go broke.
That's actually a brilliant point, because when Dylan and I did an episode, just the two of us, we talked about like how does the .com bubble relate to today, and to me it's like, is AI actually going to be worth all of these billions of dollars that everyone is spending? So that's an amazing point. You make a good point.
All right, gentlemen, good talk. I
All
appreciate
right.
that. Yeah, that was good. All right. So next, excuse me. Looking into this, first of all, anything else to add on the economy? Anything worries, concerns, things that right now, if you feel like anyone should know, they need to know right now. If not, hey,
I'm
we're
gonna
okay.
make a prediction.
Same thing.
Tomorrow, if the Fed does not drop interest rates, you'll see the stock market like go
Drop.
way down. You know?
Ooh,
Yeah, I agree.
know what that means? It's time to buy, baby. Keep your wallets ready. That's Hey, I might get me some Tesla. You know?
Yeah.
Like-
Tomorrow, if that's the only thing. The economy's fine. It's actually very strong. It's like we argue over these 0.1, 0.2, you know. It's like when, I don't know, like if you mowed your lawn and you're like, it's a little high, like this part is off half an inch, versus like it's 2.5 inches tall instead of 3 inches tall or something. Like we're arguing over just teeny tiny little things because we're so used to having everything perfect in the US economy, and like our future is strong, you know. AI is my biggest concern. If there's an AI bubble, that could cause like a 2-year thing.
So not that AI is taking over.
No,
It's just people are heavily investing
not
into
the Terminator.
Gotcha. Skynet, not a concern. Got it. Also, looking into this, so economy strong overall. Just got this off. Economy strong. We're looking good in the future as well. There's not really concern that we should worry about. Keep it steady as your portfolio is as of now.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, speaking of stocks, what's going on? Let's talk about Tesla. So, Nick, I'm going to go back to you on this. So, Tesla stock, it's seeing a massive jump right now. I believe it hit a record. What was it? 430 was what it hit, if I saw correctly, maybe 420. So, what are we seeing right now? Why is this happening?
Yeah, so I'll say I'll talk out of both sides of my mouth. So one, it's like why the heck is it happening? So the EV credit is being discontinued, right? So either Tesla cars are going to just get more expensive or their margins are going to shrink. And the other one is they just announced a redefinition of full self-driving, which as an owner, it really irritates me because they've talked about like this dream, this vision where it's right now you have to watch the road. And if you don't, like it dings you and then takes over. Well, full self-driving is supposed to eliminate that. There's supposed to be an unsupervised option.
Yeah.
And the robo taxis are supposed to be like the start of that. And like, hey, at the end of this year, beginning of next year, we're going to start to see that. Well, now they've redefined full self-driving to say, hey, it's only supervised. You're never going to have to not look at that, So both of those two things to me, from a long-term standpoint, should be bad for Tesla, but Tesla has been skyrocketing. And I think like one of the biggest things is Elon just bought like 2.5 million shares of Tesla. I think $1 billion worth.
Yeah.
So that shows like a lot of confidence. And I'm sure Bradley will talk about like the reason why Elon might do something like that. But yeah, it's crazy to me because a lot of the news that I've seen, it really should make Tesla go down. But I just think the confidence that Elon has and some of the things that they're starting to do, people are on board. They're excited. They want to get on that journey. But yeah, I think there's some negative things there that aren't being priced in currently.
Before we get to Elon, with your point, Nick, I still think, and some people don't agree with me, I still think Tesla is a growth stock. I don't think they've hit maturity yet. They're not where Apple or Amazon are, where it's like, we've got our business model, we're going. So all those things that you talked about, full self-drive, to me, Tesla is still a baby of a company. And I think the idea is this could be like a behemoth in 10 years, which gets down to Elon. But I think we'll still see it go up. Again, this is just a prediction, but I think we're going to see it go up, and we don't really know like the limits of what Tesla really could be. And I think that's why like investors are like, I still see a really bright future, even though we've had a couple bad quarters of sales and like they're kind of tightening like all their dreams that they once had. That's my thoughts, just to go along with what you're saying, Nick.
Yeah, but like with Tesla, the price to earning ratio being over like 200, like if they're a baby, don't they have to like take over the world to be like fully mature?
I think they will. Like not literally, but I think they will.
Literally.
With what they have with the pay package stuff, it's kind of take over the world type stuff. So I guess we could get into that. Well, I mean, what do you think, Nick?
Well, so I guess here's my question, because it's either take over the world or don't, you crash. So doesn't that make it a very like high risk, high reward type bet? And my question is, should you be risking it in that situation? Because yeah, if they do take over the world, great bet. But what are the chances that actually happens?
I agree. It's a high risk, high reward. I'm not advocating go put all your money in Tesla. I'm saying this is what I think investors are seeing. Shareholders, yes. I think the board, they're like, we could be this massive thing. And there's a lot of hope for it.
People who are drinking the Kool-Aid, yes.
Whatever it's going to be, it's in the infancy stages.
I think the believers agree with you. Yes, and I think that's why they're willing to pay 200 times their earnings for a share of Tesla.
Yeah.
Very PC answer, Nick.
Oh, dude.
Okay. I think that people agree with you, Will. All right, we got it. All right. So, Bradley, going into this, we heard about Tesla having $1 trillion pay package. Can you explain what that's about?
Okay. This is the take over the world stuff.
Okay.
Hear me out. Okay, first of all, I think we hear $1 trillion pay and we like there's like an emotional trigger that happens in your brain, like billionaires, trillionaires, they emotionally trigger us, like whether it's envy, jealousy, anger. If you're listening, put that aside and hear me out just to like what's going on. So, for Elon Musk to actually make $1 trillion, which is what you saw in the headlines, the following things have to happen. First, he has to increase the value of the company from one whatever $1 trillion to $8.5 trillion. So it's like a 6.7% or 6.7 times increase. So it's not just that he's getting $1 trillion. It's to get these shares, he has to do basically the biggest performance package ever in the history of the world. He has to make the pyramids. So first, he has to increase the value of the company 6.7 times. Second, he has to increase Tesla's profit by 2035 25-fold. So whatever they're making now in profit, not just the value of the stock. So this goes along with what you're saying, Nick. So the price to earnings 250, he has to increase the actual profit that they're making 25 times. Like, that's a huge number, right? Like, normally we hear like, hey, I need sales to go up by 5 to 10% by the end of the year. This is 25 times, okay? So this is important that he doesn't just make the stock price go up and say, hey, look, I did it. He's actually doing something. He also has to have deployed 1 million robo-taxis in commercial operation by 2035. So this means there has to be 1 million of these cars driving around by themselves, 1 million of them as Ubers or taxis by 2035. He also has to sell 1 million of those Android robot things, those Tesla robot things. We need to see 1 million of those walking around, doing our chores, our dishes, whatever, rubbing our feet, 1 million of them. There's more. He has to obviously stay the CEO. He has to have 10 million active paid full self-drive subscriptions. And right now there's something like 6 to 7% or 6 to 7 million Teslas on the road. He has to get 10 million full self-driving cars on the road. So if he were to do this, all these things, whatever you think, like millionaires, billionaires, evil, whatever, he deserves $1 trillion. Is the idea.
At that point, yes, you're correct. That if all the stars align,
yes,
that is unironic taking over the world stuff. I agree.
That's what I'm saying, Nick, with like, why are people like so crazy? Imagine if he did all those things in less than 10 years. There's 1 million robots walking around doing our groceries. There's 1 million cars driving themselves. 10 million cars where we're in it, but they're still driving themselves. Plus, the company's worth 6.7 times more and 25 times making more profit. Give the guy $1 trillion. So, I don't know. What do you think, Nick, with all that?
Yeah, no, it is crazy. And I mean, to grow Tesla by that much, what's the timeline? Is it just
it's
indefinite?
2035. So
he's got 10 years to grow Tesla.
Yeah.
Basically the largest company we've ever seen on the planet.
Yes.
And it's, I don't know. Have you seen those robots, by the way?
I've seen like the videos from like a year ago when they showed them at the shows.
When I bought my Tesla, I had to go in and they have like one of them standing there.
Oh,
It is life size. Like, I don't think it was operational or anything, but it was life size. It reminds me of that movie, I, Robot, a little bit.
Yeah.
But it does look super cool. But no, I think it sounds really cool. It sounds almost impossible. Yeah, I guess the question is, do you want a ticket on that ride or not? Are you going to jump in and buy some Tesla stock, or you going to sit on the sidelines? I don't know.
I think my thing is, like, as a consumer, I want those results. Like, I want my car to drive me around. We've talked about this a million times, you know? I want, like, the convenience of what this could bring. Sure, I want a little bit of it in my portfolio, but I want what they want to happen. Dylan, what were you about to say? Sorry, go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say too, and the thing that the full self-driving, what irritates me is, like, right now it's $100 a month, right?
Yeah.
Or $8,000 one-time charge.
Yeah.
Well, with the current limitations, I don't want to pay for that. But if you do unsupervised, I'll give you 12, 15,000 for it if it's a lifetime deal. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so when you're talking about he's got to get 10 million people to subscribe to that, and then he just said, but it's not going to do the thing that everybody wants it to do. Like, how is he going to get there if they're not going to create the full unsupervised self-driving?
I think it will be full unsupervised self-driving within a couple years. I mean, remember, it went from autopilot a year ago to full self-drive supervised. So like the technology jump was huge within 12 months. It just, I think what's happened is like Elon promises a lot, and then it's like, well, maybe it won't be as much as I promised, or it won't be as soon as I promised. But I guarantee with what they have with the robo taxis, these cars will be driving themselves within a couple years without us paying attention.
Well, do you think it's a technology thing? Because Elon just announced a new chipset that is supposed to be even better than the Highwind
Right.
4 that just released.
Yeah.
But I think he said it's a beast. It's going to like dwarf anything else that they have. So, and I've done the Highwind 4 model, and it drives just fine. Very rarely do I ever need to take over. So, like, what are we waiting on? Is it a legal thing? Is it regulatory stuff? Like, why can't we just flip the switch and I can take a nap on my way to work?
I think it's three things. I think it's the AI technology, the chips, it's the hardware, the cameras, and it's regulatory. So like if you watch those videos of Waymo in Texas, it's got all these lasers and stuff all over it. They've been doing it for 6, 7 years, and they haven't made much progress. Now you go, if you get a robo taxi in Texas, you have a guy next to the wheel, but he's not driving. He like has his hands around the wheel like he's gonna drive. The technology jumping is so quick with Tesla that it's like, well, they're waiting to make sure everything's basically perfect. And even right now, if we were to roll it out, there would still be a couple accidents here and there. Deaths would probably go down by like 99% for car accidents, you know? So I think regulators don't want cars killing people on their own, you know? Even if
Probably
it
a
means
good process to have.
even if it means I think there's something like 40,000 car deaths a year, right? If they were to drop it to 500, but those 500 came from the cars driving themselves, I think they would still say, let's let the other 39,500 people die.
We need to blame somebody, right? That's the problem.
Yeah. They don't want anyone dying from a car doing its own thing, you know? So that's why it's taking so long, because like Texas has rolled back some regulations. California's rolled back a bunch of regulations. But I don't know, going back to that pay package, if he does those things, give the guy $1 trillion, you know? Like
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's the craziest thing. When I actually researched everything over the last week or so, it's absolutely nuts.
And it amazes
Agreed.
me, like, it's also, I mean, they don't offer that or bring that up unless they think something of that can be a possibility, right?
Right.
So just imagine in 10 years that that's a thing. I
think
can see why you
also
think it's a growth
part of
stock.
it is to like keep Elon focused, right? Like he has 4 other companies, like Neuralink, SpaceX, Twitter X, and Tesla, and he got involved in politics. And I think the board is like, hey, can you not, you know?
Can you pay attention to us?
Yeah. And so they're like, we'll give you $1 trillion if you just pay attention to us, you know?
When you put it like that, that's really funny.
Yeah.
All right,
You're
cool.
welcome.
Well, yeah, thank you.
I'm
You're
smart.
blessing us with your presence. I didn't say that. All right. Now, looks like that's what wrapped up with everybody. So I appreciate everyone for sharing what their insights are and everything when they have, and what's going on with the economy. Because as always, when you're just reading the headlines, sometimes it's easy to get scared.
Yeah.
Another April scenario where the world's on fire. I'm just thinking, well, if Tesla drops tomorrow, I don't know if we're gonna have this growth stock. I'm gonna get a 20% discount. I'm feeling, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that sounds good to me. All right. So everybody, I appreciate you so much. I'm going to close this out with something. So I started off when we're talking about the potential things that we're doing with our portfolio. What's changed, what's new. What is the blunder that you recently had with it? So let's close it out with the blunder. What's something that you would say, hey, I did this, don't do it? What do you got, Nick? Let's start with you for this.
Well, I think I mentioned I sold out of quite a few positions recently. I think I'm sitting at about 90% of my portfolio is cash right now, and I sold the VU at what was it, 476,
Okay.
and it's at what now, like five something, 506 or something like that.
Wait,
Am
how
I
much did you sell VU for?
Yeah, what?
like $30 ago? What's it trading at? Am
It's
I fudging the number?
606.
Okay, so 576
Oh,
is what I
okay.
sold it at.
I
Sorry.
was
Yeah.
gonna say, there's a huge difference.
Sorry, 576. So I've lost out on quite a bit of growth in VU over the last like month or two, and I had all of those triple and quadruple time
Yeah.
ETFs that I sold out of too. So a little bit of a blunder. I thought it hit the top. I was gonna get some sell high, buy low type of thing, and mistime the market, I guess, and so I missed out on some growth there for sure. So don't do what I did and try to get greedy and time the market.
Well, I guess you're already looking for the Tesla because you're kind of asleep at the wheel right now. Oh,
Ah,
got him. Easy.
Hey, real
Uh,
quick before I get to my thing,
I was going
I
into mine, but yeah, sure, go ahead.
before you get into yours, Dylan, um, I test drove a Tesla just for fun.
Ooh. Okay.
Uh,
did you love it?
well, it was the weirdest thing
Why
because
did you ask like that? Did you love it?
did you like her? Um,
Did you treat her right?
you can do this thing where you go in to the app and set up an appointment and you don't have to talk to anyone. So I drove to a hotel parking lot. Speaking of did you love her? I met her at a hotel
Ooh.
parking lot. She was just parked right there. Opened it with my app, got in the car. I didn't know what I was doing. I've never been in a Tesla before. There's
This is
just
my
like this.
first time.
This is getting weird.
But anyways, I turn it in and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I have an hour, so I put in like the grocery store and it drove me around, to the grocery store. And I was like, this is pretty awesome. I can't wait. So, yeah. That's it.
Wow, that's great, Bradley. Thanks.
That was your blunder?
No, he
No,
said
it was a
before.
random
He said
story.
before.
Oh, okay.
It's the animal story he gave, that dead animal or whatever, right? What was that? What was it?
The chili story?
Yes, that was
The
it.
what?
Yeah.
The chili story.
Chili?
Yeah. You were like, we made a pot of chili, and then it was
Oh, no. The chicken broth.
or chicken broth,
Oh
whatever.
yeah, that's fair. It's ridiculous, as you can tell. Anyway, my blunder. I you never sell on a loss because then it's a guaranteed loss. You know what I mean? And it wasn't a lot. It's dropped down again. It's a good way to get out, to be fair. But it was this. It was a prison stock, Geo. If you guys are a part of that, so I bought it initially. I love both of you just immediately
both
pulling it
looking
up.
at it.
Yeah, I mean I've never seen you guys so quick. So I actually bought before the election. And I got to take advantage of the jump that happened. It was a lot of a jump. I didn't invest anything but like a couple hundred into it. Don't get me wrong, it was a nice jump I was able to. Um, but it popped off after the election because, with policies and crackdown on immigration, right? With that, I sold and it was like, I forgot, what was the initial, like in November? How much was it? Did it pop up to?
Geo Grocery Outlet Holding Corp?
No, it's GEO. Hang on.
GEO?
Yeah, like Geo, like Geograph.
Oh,
No,
you said-
I did Geo too.
Yeah, the
Oh.
letter G, the letter O.
Okay, anyway, I bought in where it was around like $12. In November, it
Ah.
jumped up to 24. So it was a good jump. I mean, I did make a good chunk on there, but if I could have kept it, it kept going up. But it just kept fluctuating now at the $20 mark back and forth. So realistically, my point with this is I lost out on a $2 stock increase. Sometimes you also got to know, like, hey, it's okay to take a loss when you've gained so much over time. It's just I could have had a little bit more. So if I just waited,
Yeah.
it might still be going up. I also wanted to caution people that buying back into it. So that's the other half. That was another blunder I did, was I did buy back into it at like 22. It keeps hovering. So I lost like $12. It's nothing huge, but I officially got out of it. and that was my random idea stock that I've had that I usually, it's weird. They usually pan out. Geo panned out, MO panned out. I'm just saying, it's weird. But this one, the second time buying it, did not pan out. I didn't get the same thing, so I shouldn't have done it. But yeah, those are mine. So don't worry about it always loss. Sometimes you just need to get out. That's my point. But my portfolio is looking pretty good. It's actually the highest it's ever been right now. And thanks, Vu. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, Bradley, what do you got? What is the blunder you've had?
I think I may have tried to outsmart myself a little bit. So I
It's a 1v1 fight.
Probably $30,000 worth of old stocks that I bought random crap like Geo. I didn't actually have Geo. Stuff that I bought at the wrong time, and I put them all into one singular stock instead of one ETF. And so I just reduced my diversification a little bit to get more dividends. But the problem is it's a solo stock. So I outmathed myself. I'm like, okay, if this stock earns 6% dividends, then I'm gonna make a lot of money in 30 years. But I messed up by undiversifying a little bit. So it was a net positive move, but I still have to buy other stocks to make sure my risk is low, if that makes sense.
Makes sense. Perfect. Well, I appreciate that. Gentlemen, do you have any words of wisdom remaining for us before we end today's session?
I'll take $1 trillion if I'll take $1 trillion too. So that's my word.
That's just called a wish.
How about this? If you give me $1 trillion,
okay. That makes what? All right. Well, I appreciate you all for showing up today. Thanks for listening, FF Family, to the end of this podcast, episode 31. Once again, have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Dylan, along with Nick and Bradley. We'll see you for the next one. Peace.
Bye.